told that there's a dangerous bunch of radicals gathered in Florida, seeking to peacefully overthrow a communist government. Run by imbeciles and nincompoops. And so God bless each of you. We are gathered at a time of extraordinary challenge. I want to say two things to you today in a word of encouragement. I'm here today to encourage you, to bring a word of hope. The first thing I want to say is America is in crisis. This is not normal. We have a president who shakes hands with the empty air. We have a president who talks to the Easter Bunny. Between Biden and Harris and Pelosi and Schumer, the Democratic Party has lost its mind. It actually is incredible how the Biden White House has managed to get everything wrong. That's impressive. You would think if they rolled the dice just by accident, they'd get something right. Every single thing they touch goes to crap. We've got prices skyrocketing. Inflation is out of control. Food is skyrocketing. Electricity is skyrocketing. Healthcare is skyrocketing. It is so bad, Antifa can't afford bricks. It's gotten so bad, Eric Swalwell can't afford Chinese dinners. It's gotten so bad. AOC can't afford fake handcuffs. Gas prices are out of control. Crime is out of control. Did you see that lunatic that tried to assassinate Lee Zeldin yesterday? This is the result of the left encouraging mob violence, celebrating mob violence, celebrating violence, celebrating threats at the home of Supreme Court justices. This is the result of years of demonizing cops. This is the result of Kamala Harris bailing out of jail violent rioters burning American cities to the ground. And then, of course, the guy who attempts to murder the Republican candidate for governor in New York gets let out of jail hours later. This is nuts. This is insane. You look at our southern border, it's never been as bad as it is right now. Over 3 million people crossing illegally. I was down the southern border just last weekend. I brought 7 senators down to the Rio Grande Valley to see firsthand what is happening. The chaos, the suffering, the misery. I met with ranchers who showed me photograph after photograph of dead bodies they'd found on their property. Day after day, week after week. We went out on midnight patrol with the Border Patrol. I'll tell you, one time I went out on midnight patrol with the Border Patrol. They went and kicked in a stash house. Pulled out some really sketchy-looking folks. One big guy, muscle shirt, tatted up. You got all the Border Patrol agents calling to me. They're going, Senator, come over here. I'm going, okay, ixnay on the editor say. Just call me Bob. But when we went out last weekend, within minutes we encountered groups crossing illegally. You don't have to go look for them. It is a constant stream of humanity. We encountered a group of a dozen, mostly women and children. 2 7-year-old girls. both unaccompanied minors. Neither had a parent with them, neither had a family member with them. They weren't sisters. They were in a group of strangers, and they had just taken a long journey in the hands of violent drug cartels. On the ground, we saw colored wristbands, because every illegal immigrant crossing the border wears a wristband with the color corresponding to how many thousands of dollars they owe the drug cartels. You can just pick them up. There are hundreds of them on the banks of the Rio Grande. These children come in debt to violent drug cartels, and then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fly them to every city in America. This last week, we saw the mayor of New York City and Washington, D.C. saying illegal immigration is a problem. No kidding. You know, maybe they could pick up the phone to say their own damn party to stop it. This is human slavery. Because these teenagers that come over, that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fly to your city, every city in America is a border town, and Biden and Harris are the last mile of the human trafficking network. These teenagers arrive in your city in debt to the cartels and working for the cartels. The boys are dragged into a life of crime, and they have it better than the teenage girls, many of whom are trapped in sex slavery. This is horrific, it is wrong, and the Democrats don't care. Now, some of y'all might be thinking, Ted, you said you were going to encourage us. You really suck at this. Well, I told you I had two messages. Here's the second one. Revival is coming. I believe that with all of my heart. All over this country, people's eyes are opening up and they realize this is a mess. You know, there's a natural pendulum to politics. Inevitably, one party gets in power, they go too far one direction. And the American people say, hold on a second, and they pull it back the other way. Every time this administration does something idiotic, or every time they put Kamala Harris on camera, although I repeat myself, they are driving people to say socialism doesn't work. Socialism sucks. You know, for a lot of Americans, prior to Biden being sworn in office, socialism sucks was just words on a t-shirt. Now you can hear the thunder in the sky. And I got to tell you, there are few things that reveal character like crisis. This COVID pandemic, we saw idiot tyrants shut the country down, shut small businesses down, shut churches down, shut schools down, all while they partied on their own. But I got to tell you, he does, and he's not alone. I got to tell you, though, people can tell. People aren't stupid. All right, let's take for a minute mask policies. Has there been anything more idiotic on its face than mask policies? All right, let's review the rules. So back when you had mask mandates in place, the rules, if you walked into a restaurant, you must wear a mask because people are going to die. You must wear a mask until you sit down. Then you take your mask off and everything is safe and fine because of science. And actually, I've got a theory on this. The COVID virus reacts to altitude. At 6 feet, it is absolutely deadly. At 3 feet, it's harmless. By the way, that's why Fauci's safe. He's only 5 feet tall. Or how about the rule on airplanes? It used to be, you must wear a mask, save people's life, you horrible animal. Unless you have a peanut. And if you have one peanut, take your mask off, gargle loudly, chew on the ear of the fat guy sitting next to you. It's all fine. Why? Because peanuts cure COVID. And by the way, to the reporters in the back who are sitting there going, ooh, misinformation, look, he's lying. No, you numbskulls, I'm not saying peanuts cure COVID. I'm saying this was all garbage, and everyone knew it was garbage from the outset. But I got to tell you, people see this and they realize it's idiocy. Their eyes are opening up. And in November, we're not just going to see a wave, we're going to see a tsunami. I can tell you I'm devoting myself to 3 things. Number 1, standing up and fighting every dumbass thing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi do. When they push to spend trillions of dollars, when they want more debt, when they come after our Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, when they come after our right to free speech, when they come after our right to religious liberty, when they nominate crazy judges and crazy radicals, I'm proud to stand up and fight them over and over again. How many of y'all saw last week in the Judiciary Committee Professor Crazy Eyes? This is the Berkeley law professor who kept making reference to people with the capacity for pregnancy. It really is bat crap crazy. Like the left, you are no longer allowed to say, here's a radical statement, okay, trigger warning. Women exist. Like, what the hell is wrong with you idiots? This is not, they've gone to crazy town. By the way, when Ketanji Brown Jackson was up for nomination, there was a reporter who ran up to me all excited and he said, "What is a woman?" And I turned to him and said, "An adult female human being?" And he looked at me completely befuddled. He said, "Wait a second, that's actually the dictionary definition. Did you look it up?" Like, no, I just speak the English language. By the way, if you'd like an alternative definition, I can give you one. A Homo sapien with 2 X chromosomes. This stuff ain't complicated, and yet the more crazy they get, part of me, every time they do something ridiculous, part of me weeps, but part of me celebrates. Because it is accelerating the country coming back. It is opening eyes. I promise all of y'all on campuses across the country, your classmates, even if they're scared to say it, are looking around thinking this stuff is nuts. I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass. There's a second thing I'm doing, which is crisscrossing the country, campaigning for candidates all over the country. Candidates for the Senate, candidates for the House. I think it's incredibly important, number one, that Republicans retake majorities in Congress, but number two, that when we have a majority, we actually do something with it. You know, don't behave like a light beer version of the Democrats. And so, between now and Election Day, I'm going to be on the ground campaigning, supporting candidates to elect strong conservative leaders with backbone. I was going to say, and balls. But I don't know if you saw, the National Women's Museum currently has the biographies of 3 men on it. Talk about the balls on them. And I want to encourage each of you, use your voice. Use your voice to speak up. Use your voice to engage. Use your voice to volunteer. Use your voice to educate. Every week I do a podcast. It's called Verdict with Ted Cruz. We launched it 2.5 years ago. It became the #1 ranked podcast in the world. We've had over 40 million downloads. We get more downloads than CNN gets on their morning show. So I want to ask everyone here, you have your cell phone? Take out your cell phone and text the word verdict to 24005. Let me give that to you again. The number is 24005. Text the word verdict, and what that's going to do is give you a link to subscribe to the podcast. Give you a link to listen and be part of the conversation, because look, one of the incredible benefits and blessings of Donald Trump's presidency is that it utterly unmasked the corrupt corporate media. It rendered them naked and bare, and in Chris Cuomo's case, that's really frightening. We know that they're dishonest, that they're liars, that they're propagandists. And that means all of us have a responsibility to go around the corrupt corporate media, to communicate directly, to communicate with facts, to communicate with substance, to communicate the truth. Your classmates are starving for truth. Verdict we've taken on travel to college campuses all over the country. Students are eager to hear the truth. And let me say, the left, they're angry. They're shrill. How many radical leftists does it take to screw in a light bulb? That's not funny! Like they're such humorless prigs. By the way, I asked that one time in a group. A guy in the back called out, well, how many does it take? I said, actually, nobody knows. That would require work. But when the left responds like some horrible schoolmarm on crack, don't respond in the same way. Respond with joy, with laughter. Laugh at them. It drives them crazy. All right, there's a meme online. It's a picture of me. And it says, "This man ate my son." I saw it. I retweeted it. I said he was delicious. Be happy, joyful warriors. Why? Because we're speaking the truth. Why? Because freedom sells. Why? Because your classmates, I promise you, if given the choice between a radical totalitarian that says, I want to control what you say, what you think, what you believe, how you worship, whether you can defend yourself, everything you say and do, you must shut up and obey your overlords. Or you can have freedom. You can have free speech and religious liberty. You can have a Second Amendment. You can have the right to speak and express and do what you want. Freedom is a powerful message. Let me say this finally. I look forward in January to walking along the hallway in the United States Capitol. And I'm going to bump into a little man carrying a screwdriver coming to change the sign on Nancy Pelosi's door. And Nancy is going to get on her broom. No, okay, that's not right. That's not fair. Nancy is going to get on her private jet, the USS Broom, and she's going to fly back to California, where for her sake, I very much hope her husband doesn't pick her up from the airport. And Chuck Schumer is going to get on the Acela train and head back to Manhattan. And then we're going to tell Joe Biden it's 2025 and he'll just wander back to Delaware. We are on the cusp of something powerful. And everyone here, you are on the front lines of saving our country. Thank you for rising to the occasion. Thank you for being willing to stand up and speak out. Thank you for having the guts to stand and fight to save this country, to stand and fight to defend the Constitution, to stand and fight to defend the Bill of Rights, to stand and fight to restore the United States of America. God bless you and God bless Turning Point.